Oh, this is going to be a long video based on that timestamp. Hey all you Hillmaniacs, it's Hillmanator. Today I figured it might be nice for you to get to know me a bit better again. I figured I would take a personality test. Now the logical choice would be the Myers-Briggs test, because that's the one that literally everyone suggests when you say you're going to do a personality test. The problem is, I've already done that one. Yeah, I've done it quite a few times actually, and pretty much every time without fail I've got INTP. Which means I'm introverted, intuitive, thinking and perceiving. Basically, I am a very logical person, apparently. Obviously, if I can't do that, then why not go with a fictional one? Like, oh, I know. Which Hogwarts house are you in? I wonder if you can guess why I'm not doing that one. What I've decided to do instead is something called the Enneagram personality test. It's a system consisting of 9 personality types. Everyone is said to fit into one of them, and the 9 are type 1, the reformer, type 2, the helper, type 3, the achiever, type 4, the individualist, type 5, the investigator, type 6, the loyalist, type 7, the enthusiast, type 8, the challenger, and last but not least, type 9, the peacemaker. Alright, so I'm about to begin the test. I have no idea how long it will be. It seems to be multiple choice. I can apparently always pick no, partly, or yes. I need to honestly grade them, apparently, which I wouldn't have guessed for a personality test. I often refrain from acting as I'm afraid of being overwhelmed. Well, that's a lie. I mean, I do acting all of the time. I've got some of my own productions up on my DVD shelf.
I am hilarious.
I am more sensitive than most people. Sometimes the world just seems too harsh. I would say no on that one. I'm quite good at shutting off any sort of particular feelings towards an insult or anything. I don't tend to get insulted or hurt that much, so I'm gonna go with no. I am uncomfortable when people want an emotional response from me. Yeah, I'd say that. I'm not particularly the most emotional person. I don't tend to get sad or anything. I'm a bit of a blank slate when it comes to emotions, I guess. It's not, I don't know. It's weird. In most close relationships, I give more than I take. Now this one's hard for me because I haven't really been in that many close relationships. Already. There's only one that I can think of which was actually close, and even then, that's debatable. So, I'd like to think that I gave a lot of emotional support to her at the time, but equally, just talking to her helped me a lot, so I'm gonna go with partly, I guess. I don't see much point in wallowing in negative emotions. When I begin to feel anxious, I tend to throw myself into distracting activities. Now that's another thing, I don't tend to get anxious. I'm quite a calm person. It just, like, whenever I had an exam or something, I would always approach it with the mindset of, if I do well, that's great. If I don't, then I'll be irritated at myself, but it's not going to affect anything and I can always resit. So I'm quite a relaxed person in general, I think, at least. So I would say that yeah, I don't see much point in wallowing in negative emotions. It's important to me that I be admired by others, and many people do admire me. No, I couldn't care less what other people think about me. I just don't care. So, I mean, if you guys do admire me, then thank you, but it doesn't particularly matter to me whether I'm liked or disliked. Your happiness and your feelings are your responsibility, not mine. I wouldn't say that. A lot of people that I know have been emotionally hurt by my actions and the actions of others, and for that I've always tried to apologise and, you know, make amends, and I do my best to avoid hurting people because their happiness is intrinsic on how other people treat them. That's not everyone is the same, but that's how they are, and so I don't know. I just feel like it's a bit of my responsibility to look after pretty much everyone. Even though it is frequently irrational, I sometimes worry whether people are talking about me behind my back. No, as I said earlier, I don't care what people think about me, so if they talk about me behind my back, that's just what they do. Plus, I've had people talk about me behind my back a whole load, because I was quite severely bullied back in the day, and it just doesn't bother me anymore. I am more organised than most. I'm gonna go with no. I am highly individualistic. Yeah, probably. I am more loving than most people. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I don't tend to show my emotions, but I do care about people a lot. So I'm gonna go with partly. I go along with what others want unless I have a very strong desire of my own, which I usually don't. I'd say yeah. Heck, we had this debate around my birthday where we couldn't decide what we were going to do because everyone wanted me to pick and I just wanted everyone to be happy. So we ended up just kind of staying in and chatting for my birthday, and then on the Friday after we went out to, well, we were going to go out to Spoons, but it was packed, so we went out to this little place called the Student Room. People are attracted to me because I impress them. Am I impressing you? Is that what's happening here? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe. I'm gonna go with partly. I don't know. Whenever I don't know, I think I'm just gonna go with partly. It makes sense, right? I am competitive and ambitious, but I do not think of myself as cutthroat. Yeah, I'd say so. I like to be the best at something, but I'm not going to go out of my way to ensure that other people fail in order to make myself the best. Sometimes I overextend myself in trying to help people. Probably, yeah. I can give myself way too much to one person and not give myself time to recover before running off to the next crisis, so I guess I hold a tight rein on my temper. Absolutely. As I said, I was bullied quite badly back in the day, and I pretty much never lashed out at anyone except maybe one of my siblings, and for that I apologise to them very much. But no, I don't tend to let myself get angry. No one would ever call me selfish. I have no clue. I want to be noticed, but it also makes me uncomfortable. Nope, don't tend to feel uncomfortable about most things. But equally, do I want to be noticed? I don't care. So, no. Usually I just focus on the positive sides of people, as focusing on negative traits or events does not help making relationships more harmonious. No. See, I have a habit of picking up on negative traits, and like I said, I'm pessimistic, I'm logical. So I try and do my best to not think about them, but I will always pick up on a negative trait eventually. And it won't necessarily make me dislike the person. Like, I know my own negative traits, I know other people's negative traits, but I just pick up on them, so I don't know. I'm gonna go with no on that one. I accumulate lots of knowledge to counteract my lack of self-confidence. Ooh, that's interesting. Is that why I accumulate my knowledge, or is it just that I like learning? I'm gonna go with partly, just because I'm not 100% sure of what the deeper psychology of my mind is, but I'm pretty sure the answer would be no. Others need my assistance much more than I need theirs. Definitely. I just don't tend to require people's help. I do stuff myself. As I said, I'm very individualistic. I'm not a show-off. In fact, I have probably been too modest. I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm too modest. Hold on, is that me being too modest? I don't think I'm too modest. But then I don't think I'm a show-off. This question is impossible. I'm gonna go with, I don't know, I'm gonna go with partly. That seems like the best answer. I wouldn't say I'm a show-off, but equally I don't think that I'm the most modest person around. Which is an example of modesty, I guess. I'm very confused. Change, whether to a new job or new school, makes me more anxious than it does most people. Not particularly. Like, I've experienced enough change in my life to just not particularly care anymore. I know that I can find a group of people that I will enjoy hanging out with, so I don't know. I'm used to change by now. I don't let it show, but if I'm with someone who is as unique as I am, I get a bit jealous. No. Everyone is unique in some way, and I mean, everyone is weird in their own selves, so everyone is as unique as I am. Why would I get jealous of someone for being the same level of uniqueness as me? That's illogical. I tend not to consider asking help from others, even from those I love. As I said earlier, I'm quite individualistic, I don't tend to need help, so I don't tend to ask. It takes me quite a lot of time and effort to make important decisions, and I frequently second guess myself. Definitely. I only decided on what A-levels I was going to do on the day to write in my A-levels as the final thing. I couldn't decide between sociology or media studies or photography, and so instead I decided to do maths. Yeah, the logic didn't quite apply to me, but basically I'd done really well at GCSE maths, so I just thought I would do well at A-level maths. Yes, it does take me a long time to decide on what to do. I am more dramatic than most. What? No, I would never be dramatic! I did have a theatre background, so it's quite easy for me to be. Plus, I do a lot of hand gestures, as you guys have probably realised in this video, so yeah, probably. People see me as warm and sympathetic person. Oh, as a warm and sympathetic person. I don't know. Do I seem warm and sympathetic? Tell me in the comments below. How warm am I? I tend to escape reality into a world of idealised fantasy. The amount of times that I have come up with the concept of the countries of united Pangea in my brain, or as I like to call it, cup. Yes, I escape to fantasies a lot of the time. My tendency to tell people what's wrong and what they should do about it has sometimes annoyed them. Yes, as I said many times throughout this video, I am very logical in my thought process, and so if I see a problem that someone else could easily fix, I will tell them about it, and they don't always like that. I tend to have mixed feelings about many people. Yeah, I don't completely despise anyone, but equally there are very few people who I just 100% adore, so yes, mixed feelings on pretty much everyone, because that's how humanity works. No one is 100% brilliant and no one is 100% terrible. I have been told I am a perfectionist, and I suppose it is true. Certainly in terms of my directorial style as an actor/director, I am very much a perfectionist in that, and in my knowledge of fictional worlds I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I like to make sure that I know everything and I can talk in depth about pretty much any topic of a fictional world. But in terms of, say, cleaning, definitely not a perfectionist. I get it up to a good enough standard, but not a brilliant one, because I just don't see the point. It really bothers me when people don't say thank you. I mean, yes, if I have done something nice for you, then you should reply and say, oh, thank you for holding the door, Josh. But no, you're just like, honestly, Jennifer. I don't give a damn about morality, but I've got my own brand of integrity. I'm a Christian. Morality is kind of like tied into that, just a tad, you know. I have a real sensitivity to how my presentation is affecting others, and I can alter it if I have to. I certainly naturally know whether what I'm wearing and looking like is appropriate for certain places, but I wouldn't say I have a natural sensitivity to it. So, partly. When I've arrived, the party starts. No, because I arrive at the party on time. Other people are like, no, we gotta be fashionably late. Honestly, Jennifer, I can easily imagine all the things that might go wrong, as I have a really vivid imagination. I mean, I do have an amazing ability to pick out all of the potential flaws in a plan, because logic and pessimism, they go in hand. But vivid imagination, I don't know. I mean, I have a reasonable imagination. I wouldn't say it's better or worse than many other people, so I'm going to go with yeah on that one, I guess, because I do have an amazing ability to pick out all of the flaws in a plan, but sure, you could argue partly, as you could with most of these. I say I mean way too much, don't I? I sometimes wish people would take care of me for a change. Not particularly. As I said, I can deal with my own problems. I'm an individualist. I don't feel like it's society's job to take care of me. I would rather take care of other people. And the last question, which is good because I've just gone below 20%, is I am good at motivating people. Now, I think I am, and I generally have no trouble at getting people to do what they need to do, as long as they are actually reasonable people. If they're a bit of if they slack a lot as a person, then it's hard and it's just a pain in the backside, but I can do it, it just takes a lot more effort. Oh, that's interesting. I am apparently most likely a type 1. No personality test is completely accurate, although several measures were taken to make this test as accurate as possible. You might also want to consider the types with the highest test score on the list below. Wait, what? I don't know, but apparently I'm a type 1. Let's see what that means. People of this personality type are essentially looking to make things better, as they think nothing is ever quite good enough. This makes them perfectionists who desire to reform and improve, idealists who strive to make order out of the omnipresent chaos. There you go. Apparently I'm an idealist, and I think there's omnipresent chaos. Ones have a fine eye for detail. They are always aware of the flaws in themselves, others, and the situations in which they find themselves. This triggers their needs to improve, which can be beneficial for all concerned, but which can prove to be burdensome to both the one and those who are on the receiving end of the one's reform efforts. My inability to achieve the perfection I desire feeds my feelings of guilt for having fallen short and fuels my incessant anger against an imperfect world, apparently. And I do, however, tend to feel guilty about my anger. Anger is a bad emotion, and one strives sincerely and wholeheartedly to be good. Anger is therefore vigorously repressed from consciousness, bursting forth in occasional fits of temper, but usually manifesting in one of its many less obvious permutations: impatience, frustration, annoyance, and judgmental criticality. For this reason, ones can be difficult to live with, but on the high side, they tend to be loyal, responsible, and capable partners and friends. They tend to be highly principled, competent, and uncompromising. They follow the rules and expect others to do so as well. But because they believe so thoroughly in their convictions, they are often excellent leaders who inspire those who follow them with their own vision of excellence. Reform movements are frequently spearheaded by ones. The relentlessness of their pursuit of the ideal can make ones tense people who have a hard time relaxing and who unnecessarily deny themselves many of the harmless pleasures of life. They tend to be emotionally repressed and uncomfortable with expressing tender feelings. They generally see emotionality as a sign of weakness and lack of control. They are seldom spontaneous. They have multiple interests and talents, however, they are self-reliant and seldom run out of things to do. Ones are often intelligent and independent and can easily mistake themselves for fives. But unlike fives, ones are primarily people of action, not thought. I'm a person of action. There you go, you heard it here first. Ones tend to worry and are prone to anxiety and sometimes mistype as sixes, but they are far less affiliative than sixes and their standards are not reached by seeking consensus with a group. Finally, the relentless pursuit of perfection can take its toll and lead to depression. At such times, a one can mistype as a four, but fours have a tendency towards self-indulgence, whereas ones are self-denying. Fours are emotionally expressive, ones are emotionally constrained. So that was me taking the Enneagram personality test. As I said earlier, I'll put the link down below for you guys to take it. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that you had a great time learning all about me. Okay, thanks for watching all. I shall catch you next time. honestly, Jennifer,